Mike, I used to be a mayor's guide, and one thing I used to say to people I was showing around Bath is, looking at all the Georgian architecture, if you could mass all that stone together, you'd have some idea of the sort of material that was dug out of the ground underneath the city. But what I didn't appreciate is just how far that Bath stone extended out into Somerset and Wiltshire.
Yeah.
And here we are in Corsham, one of the major centres of Bath stone quarrying.
Yeah, that's correct. Mainly the Corsham and the Box areas were eventually the largest stone producing areas for Bath stone. The industry's heyday was probably from the mid 18th century, and that coincided with the opening of Box Railway Tunnel when large reserves of Bath stone were found, and they started to develop the quarries from then on. Up until that stage, they'd probably been fairly low key. They'd probably chip away at the edge of a hillside, remove the rubble, and then take the stone from there. And then they progressed on to going underground for the stone. Initially, they'd make a vertical haulage shaft quarry where they literally start on the surface, dig down into the ground, taking the stone as they went, and then later on someone hit on the idea that it might be a good idea if they had what they call a slope shaft, so they'd have a steep incline down into the ground. You'd have steps one side for the quarrymen to access the workings, and on the right hand side of the shaft they'd put a narrow gauge tramway where they could take the stone in and out using trolleys similar to these two here, which have been rebuilt for us by members of the Brunel Men's Club in Corsham. They've done one already, which is on display in Corsham at the Springfield Centre, if anyone wants to go there and have a look at it, or if you're passing through. These two trolleys here, they're virtually complete now, and at some stage in the future they will be going on display adjacent to the A4 on the approach to Corsham, acting as a gateway to the town, if you like.
And a big physical reminder of what went on in this place.
Oh yeah,
and in a small way still does go on.
It does, yes. There's still a couple of quarries operational in Corsham, obviously one of which is owned by Nina. There's another one at a place called Park Lane Quarry in Corsham, a couple of mothballed quarries, and then you've got Stokehill Quarry, which is at Limply Stoke near Bath. So there is still stone production taking place in the area.
Now, with due respect to Stuart Burrows' Museum of Bath at Work and the Stone Quarry Museum in Coombe Down, this has to be a much bigger collection of material taken from stone quarries and all stored away here in a unit, which, as Nina was saying, is rarely seen by the general public. As Nina was saying, you've got a problem on your hands.
Yeah, we have, yeah. I mean, we've got getting on for around about 4,000 items, from small hand tools up to the trolleys. Behind me, we've got the Samson art cutting machine there. That's our biggest exhibit. Yeah, we wouldn't ever be able to display all the items in the collection, but we've got enough that we've got duplication of some things, so if we hopefully manage to open a museum in Corsham, we've got enough that we could fill it fairly quickly. What we do with the rest of the collection, I don't know at the moment. That is an issue.
Museums always tend to be icebergs, don't they?
I don't think
show it all.
No, I've never come across a museum where they haven't got enough storage space, and they seem to have stuff pushed into cupboards and little storage places out of the way. But yes, ideally it would be fantastic if we could actually open a museum in Corsham where we could display stuff properly.
Well, Mike, as I now understand, you've got a collection here of national importance. But why do you think it is so important that material like this should be saved for the nation and should be on display?
Well, I think the whole collection here was one man's dream. David Pollard, who I met back in the 1980s. At that stage, his quarry was a museum then, and I used to do underground tours. Used to help out collecting exhibits and stuff like that. And as the years went on, I lost touch with David for a bit when I started a family, but then David got in touch with me and said, I've acquired a unit in Corsham, it's where we're standing at the moment. Would you like to come and help us? We're going to start moving all the exhibits into the unit. So we then spent several happy years. We used to come down here at least once a week. We'd setting stuff up. We'd go out on expeditions or jollies, if you will, and picking other exhibits up. We do metal detecting and recover items. And I'd like to see this carry on as a tribute to David as well, because literally he's started all this off single-handedly, and he was very tenacious and single-minded in what he was doing with this. And I'd love to see it carry on and progress through to fruition, and hope that the general public can see all this amazing stuff.